that a pupil has died. Now, this pupil who's now passed away, we're told, had been captured on video being assaulted by another girl at a local high school in Thohoyandou, that's in the Venda area of Limpopo. We can now speak to the Education Department spokesperson, Didimalo Training, who's joining us by phone. And Didimalo, I'm hoping you'll be able to hear me. Now, let's start with what happened at the school on the day that that video was taken.
Well, thank you very much. We, as a department, received an alert this morning that there is a video circulating on social media, and it's actually quite shocking to watch, where learners being slapped around by another. They are both grade 10 learners, female grade 10 learners there. And you can also hear in the background there's a group that is cheering on the one who's beating the learner. So that is quite disappointing to watch, and we're made aware of that. But also, we're also made aware of the fact that the learner who was victimized, is reported to have since passed away. However, we do not know what the cause of death is at the moment, and we're waiting for a formal report from the police to give us an indication of what might have happened and have not. Before this interview, I was in a virtual meeting. The MEC has convened members of executive management, first of all, to get a report on this incident, but also just to check with our legal services what is it that can be done to ensure that parents are encouraged to open cases, but also schools to enforce their code of conduct, looking at the kind of conduct that has been picking up from our learners. So it's quite disturbing.
So you're unable at this stage, you're waiting for a report to confirm whether this pupil indeed, unfortunately, took her own life subsequent to a video of this attack making its way onto social media. When was she assaulted by this other girl in the video?
The incident is reported to have taken place yesterday, and the learner is reported to have passed away yesterday. And the principal and management are also at the learner's home. They went there at 2 o'clock just to also get another report from them, or a formal indication of what transpired in terms of timelines. But at the same time, the MEC has been in communication with the provincial police commissioner, who has made an undertaking to prioritize the matter. So we should be knowing as soon as possible what has transpired and also what will be happening in this regard.
So the pupil who's seen slapping the deceased, where is she now? Has she been suspended?
Those are processes that are underway. We'll be taking statements, but of course suspension and opening up a criminal case are things that are actually being put on the table. So that process is underway. Like I said, the principal is visiting the family now, and of course we will get a report of what happened, not only to the ones that were seen slapping her. We're also trying to establish if there might be others again who were involved, because we're only talking now, you and I, on what we're only able to see on the reporting. So there is a process of getting statements from everyone who is alleged to have been part of that group to get a full sense of the incident.
To those of us who don't follow the bureaucracy, the process, who've watched the shocking video, which we are not going to play here on ENCA because it is simply so disturbing, a lot of people, some of us would then in fact argue that you see a video where you see a pupil clearly attacking another. Why is that not simply enough grounds to then enforce a suspension, at least while you continue with the investigation based on the video itself?
I think it's correct to say that what we're seeing is enough for us to impose an action. And to take it further, like I said, we want to believe that there is more than what is being captured, and that is why the schools then undertake the process of getting statements from all those who are involved. You can hear that there's also cheering up, so we are convinced that it might not necessarily be one learner involved in the victimization of the deceased.
And I'm looking again at your statement here, because there was another video of school violence. This time it involved grade 12 pupils at Ntuba High School. It brings up the question of just how rife school violence is in Limpopo.
Well, we are worried that we are picking up this trend now, and that is why the MEC has convened executive management now, so that we also strengthen on our proactive interventions, because we can't always be waiting to pick up things. And usually when we pick them up, something bad would have happened. Either a learner has passed away in this instance or others are psychologically damaged. So it is something that we are now trying to nip in the bud by strengthening already existing interventions. But also the message goes out to also members of the community that learners are also our responsibility. It's important that we also support each other in making sure that these things are reported as soon as possible. Because when you was taking this video recording, no one was stopping it. What is it that we are putting out there for our learners? So in the strongest terms, the MEC wants to see swift action from the schools in terms of disciplining learners, but contact with the police commissioner again to say that these things are also criminal activities. Let us also evolve that so that we send a very strong message that this is not tolerated at all.
And final question, Tidimalo, and you're making the point then, the issue of the other pupils who often, and it's not just in this particular video from Toyando, often when these videos of pupils, children, fighting appear, it is the most shocking levels of violence, people being slapped across the face, some even draw knives we've seen in the past. But what is very disturbing is the fact that those around are often cheering on, which also suggests then that the education department, not just in Limpopo, has a long way to go in defeating these levels of violence when these pupils, these children, appear so desensitized to it, and some even enjoy it.
Well, it is true, and we have come to acknowledge, and not now, but since we started dealing with this problem a few years ago, that it needs collaboration between us and other departments, the Department of Social Development, but also the police, so that we're able to deal with this. Another point is that we also need to have our schools stringently enforcing their code of conduct when such matters are being reported on, so that we really send a strong message that no one should really think about it even in future, that it is tolerable. There are consequences to that. You will find yourself in jail. You will stop schooling if you do this to other learners.
Didima Lotreni, spokesperson for the Education Department in Limpopo, will try to get that update for you as soon as the developments as far as determining the cause of death for this one pupil and possibly news of a suspension then for the one pupil who we see attacking her in that video taken yesterday.